little bare right now, but this is my cage I built for my bearded dragon. I'm going to be building similar stuff like this for all my other animals too. The vents, they're melted in to the front plexi. As you can tell, I can run my hand up and down that. That's where I cut it. I file that away to make it where it won't cut yourself. The inside is just your basic dragon setup or snake setup if you want one of these bolts installed. Recommend for snakes to put a cage. With lizards, you really don't need them unless you just got one that likes to, like a monitor that's big enough he can pop his back up against it. They tend to do that a lot. Yeah, it's all the seams. I silicone every little seam. I go a little nuts with it. As you can see, there's a little excess. Like I do with that is over time, when you clean it, it'll come off. There's the track. I screw the track down. I don't silicone it, just in case you ever do have to replace it. I silicone every board on the front to make sure that they won't leak or anything. The only thing I don't silicone is this top board, and the reason behind that is if you ever have to work on the track, you'll have to take this off. And it just makes it easier to work on. And I'll leave holes where you can see the screws. Back that up a little bit. Leave the holes where you can see the screws, so that if a board ever does go bad on this, all you have to do is get your new board, sand it, fill it, and put it on in the same spot. That's pretty much it. I just made it to where it's easy to work on. And you can see the screws up here. I use 2.5-inch screws, drywall screws, to put it together so it's solid, it ain't coming apart. With the cages, tell me what you need, size, dimensions, whatever you want in it. I can do rock walls. Just tell me what colors you want or what type of theme you want. Most of the time, if you just let me do what I do with the colors and you tell me the kind of theme you want, like desert or rainforest, I can do that for you. But yeah, for the most part, this is the cage. For them to be stackable, and also so there's not a wire for a snake or anything to get tangled up in. What I do is a router on the top. I just cover it with tape. Underneath this tape, there's actually the hole that feeds the wire to the light and makes it to where the wire's not in the cage at all. And then there's a little groove right here that has the wire in it, and it's just taped over and secured at the back. But yeah, and for people who have arboreal snakes, typically what I'll do is I'll take, if you ask me to put something in there for them to climb on, I'll take like 2x4s and sand them real good, stain them, treat them, and then I'll screw them across the whole cage. I'll make sure they're nice, good, and secure. Just to make sure your snake has a good, comfy spot to lay whenever it's up in there. Because I know some of the people don't really compensate for if you have a heavier body snake. Like in the PVC cages, they use that PVC pipe. And I know it's strong and all, but it does occasionally bow and crack under the certain weights. Or if your snake just happens to wrap around it one day and you go pulling it, you'll wind up breaking it. But yeah, typically this is the cage. Yeah, I can show you everything inside again, closer to the light. For those of you that know grave dragons are supposed to have UVA lighting. This light right here is just where the heat light goes. Right now, it's just temporary. I'm going to be putting the UVB in here. Typically, if you want just light fixtures, I can put them in for around $50. And if you want the UVB bulbs, that's an additional $38. That's basically just me buying the bulb, putting it in for you. Yeah, all the seams, everything, as you can tell, that's plenty secure. And I ain't going nowhere. Yeah, he's wondering what we're doing. But yeah, all the seams are good. And I'm pretty sure I could probably fill this up with water. Sorry for how real dirt on it, but here's the front of the cage. What it looks like. What I do to help reinforce the track is I don't cut it, I make it full length of the cage. I jam that board in between it, damaging it against those. Right there. And your glass. I'm going to get it done with my hand here. The glass, punch right out. One hand. And that's your vent. I just melt those in there with a wood burner. For the most part, easy to get back in there. All my cages that I send off will come standard with a lock. That's the only thing that comes standard with it. The only thing that comes standard with the cage is the lock. This dark wood stain will be my standard wood stain that I use on the front. I can do any other color you want. Just know this one's what looks best with it. I use only the white melamine due to the fact on the inside of the cage you really want it to be like a lab setup, basically, where it can be sanitized and you can see if there's any little bugs or anything like that crawling around. But the outside of it, if you want, I can sand it, I can repaint it, but for the most part I'll just leave it white. Here in the next year or 6 months I may start doing plastic cages. The company I've been talking to and looking at, they have different options for the plastics. But I'll get to that when I get to that. What I really like about the company is that they have plastic that's white on the inside and black on the outside. But yeah, for right now I just use wood. Heck, I've used it for a good while. Melamine cages can last you up to 20 years, so. But yeah.